Hello and welcome to my new video. Today I want to take a closer look with you at a very good solution for your home and your smart home control with the Fritz Box. Today I brought along the box control from the manufacturer Becker for you. There are two versions of this, namely the Vario Control VC420 Digital Enhanced Cordless Telecommunications and the Light Control LC422 Digital Enhanced Cordless Telecommunications. Both work excellently with the current Fritz Box models and allow you smart control, for example, of your light switches or the control of your shutters. I want to take a closer look at these two systems with you today. Let's start with the light control first. The Light Control LC422 is a compact wireless flush-mounted receiver module. For example, this conveniently switches your light via the Fritz Box and uses the secure digital enhanced cordless telecommunications ultra-low energy standard. What's special about this system is that it offers two additional button inputs. You can see them over here on this side. These are worth their weight in gold for us, because with them we can also control our actuators manually using a button, which is especially important for me. In addition to the manual control of the two buttons, these two buttons also appear virtually in your Fritz Box and can then be controlled directly in your Fritz Box. They can also be integrated into the smart home programs there. This, of course, gives us the option to control these two switches and the device specifically via Fritz Smart. That means, for example, starting it via the heating automation or enabling maximum flexibility directly on the wall. But that's not our main focus today, because I've brought a second device with me here, namely the Vario Control VC420 DECT. The Vario Control VC420 DECT is excellent for retrofitting already existing motorized roller shutters or blinds. That's what I want to try out and set up with you in this video today. And here's a little tip as well. If your roller shutters are still equipped with a strap, you can switch directly to a box control drive and control the shutters via the Fritz Box. But in my case, I already have a roller shutter drive installed instead of a strap, and I just want to retrofit this control right here. Overall, this is very easy to do, but here's a very important note. I'll demonstrate it now on a roller shutter, but the device also controls blinds, not just roller shutters. Because especially with blinds, the device allows for precise slat control. That means for you that you can't just move the blinds up and down. But you can also adjust the slats precisely and thus control the light optimally, so that it's perfectly adjusted to your needs. But let's get back to the installation of the Vario Control VC420, an important step before we start the installation here. We're working here with 230 volts of mains power. I recommend the following. If you don't feel confident doing this installation, please have a qualified electrician do it for you. Important, of course, when installing, you also need to follow the 5 safety rules of electrical work. I've covered these in another video. You can always find it up here under the I. Safety comes first. For the installation, I'll be using this demo setup here, which the company Becker kindly provided for me to test and try out. The advantage of this setup is that I can show it to you directly at the table and don't have to install it in the wall. This way, the connections are much clearer and well structured. Up here, we have our roller shutter motor installed. Usually it has these connection wires here. With a typical roller shutter drive like this, we usually have these connections. We have a neutral conductor, which is blue. Here we have our protective conductor. Please always make sure to connect this one so that the protective function is ensured. And 2 live wires for motor control, for up and down. Basically, there isn't much you can do wrong here. Let's start by wiring the VC420 DECT. I've already prepared a few things here. Important before starting work. Please switch everything off, disconnect, and secure against being switched on again. Here I have my incoming cable, for example, from my sub-distribution panel. This contains 3 wires. Here is the protective conductor. This is the neutral conductor. You absolutely have to connect this one at this point. Here we have another neutral conductor, an N, but this one is labeled as out. That's your output, your neutral conductor output. And here we have L. That's the live conductor input, which is the brown wire in this case. Now here we have the connection for the roller shutter motor. It has 4 wires here, and basically it's also quite simple to connect. We forgot our protective earth conductor, so please don't connect this one. I've just clamped it to the protective earth. Now we have the neutral conductor. That's also quite simple. It's marked here as N out. We connect it here, and then we have these 2 conductors left. That's basically one for rolling the shutter up and one for rolling the shutter down. If you're not exactly sure what each color means here, check the user manual of the roller shutter motor or just try it out. That's what I just did. Now let's take a look. For me, the black wire is for the control, so of course it goes in this position, and the brown wire is for raising the roller shutter. This one now goes in this position. So far so good. Our box control is ready to use. But there's still a way to expand this a bit, because you can also control the roller shutter or the blind using a button. If you already have one or want to add one, we can connect it here too. The button usually has 3 connection points, one live terminal where it basically gets its power from. To put it simply, there are 2 buttons here, one for up and one for down on a single button. We can easily integrate that here as well. To do this, we remove the live wire from the box again. Now we add a small terminal block here so we can split our live wire. We connect it with this extra wire, which we can then put back into the box. We take the L connection from our switch, which is also the live wire. We also connect this to our small terminal block here. Now we still have the 2 control wires here. I'll just call them up and down. As marked here, we can simply connect them here as well. With that, everything is now wired up here. Since this is a bit confusing, I've made a circuit diagram for you again. I'm showing it to you right now. Here you can take a closer look at it. Now we can put the whole system back into operation. That means basically turning on the circuit breaker here. Our box clicks once and is now ready for operation. We can see that here with this little green LED that's now blinking. The next step, of course, is to connect the box to the Fritz Box. To do this, you either log in directly to the Fritz Box or simply enter Fritz Box or the IP address of the Fritz Box up here. Usually it's an IP address ending with 1 here. My situation is unique, so ignore this address. Let's log in quickly. Once we're on the interface, we go to the Smart Home section and then to Devices and Groups. Since we want to pair a digital enhanced cordless telecommunications device here, we go to this section. We select that we have a digital enhanced cordless telecommunications device. We click on Next and select Register New Device. Now, of course, our box needs to be in pairing mode. If that's not the case, press the button over here briefly until it's in pairing mode. You'll see this because the green LED will start blinking again. Now we let the Fritz Box connect to the device. As you can see, it was successful, and we can now set up the device right away. We can now give the switch a name here. Usually it has this name now. But you can also name it in such a way that you can assign it to your roller shutter or your window accordingly. We see that the whole thing is connected. Let's review the roller shutter control again. That means we can now save the end position right here, and of course also activate the automatic switching here. That's a very good feature. For example, just to mention burglary prevention. We can now basically activate a timer here for when the shutter should automatically close and open. That also helps you, for example, if you're on vacation, to simulate someone being at home, and that way you have active burglary protection as well. Basically, it's very easy to use. The blue marks the closed periods, the white marks the open periods. You just click up here briefly. Here we can mark it like this. If you want to undo that, you just click on the eraser here. You delete it again and then specify the time interval in which it should be repeated. And with that, we've created it as well. At this point, an important note. If you want to connect this switch to a new Fritz Box, or if you've gotten a new Fritz Box, that's also very easy to do. Up here we have the connection switch again. This time, hold it down longer instead of just pressing briefly. The red LED above is now blinking. Now the switch is basically reset again and we can reconnect it. For example, with another Fritz Box or after resetting this Fritz Box. It now goes back into pairing mode and can be paired again. After we've successfully paired it here, there's one more step you need to do. You need to click on shutter control for this. Here we can save the end positions again, end position open, end position closed. That should all be clear. Now we'll move to the closed end position by simply pressing this button in our browser. I'll also show you the shutter here again at the same time. As you can see, when I press the button here, the shutter moves almost completely in sync with this button action. Now we'll fully lower the shutter. Now we've reached the end position, so we'll save this. Of course, we do the same in the open position. Here we move to the open end position and save that as well. After we've done that, we can quickly test if everything we've set up here is correct. I'll just enter an opening of about 20% now. That worked very well, and then again 80% just to be sure. That looks good too. So our end positions are now programmed. Then of course we've also connected our button here. We can test that again now. I'll lower it here now. If we press this briefly, we can make the roller shutter twitch or move for a moment. If we press and hold it here, we can then release the button. It moves automatically to the end positions we just programmed and then stops automatically. To open, just press and hold here and the roller shutter will open. If something happens here and you need to stop it, just press the button again and the roller shutter will stop. If you press it again, the roller shutter will move back to the end position. That's how our button works accordingly. It's the same here. At this point, the video is already quite advanced. In this video, I also wanted to briefly discuss burglary prevention. You already saw it earlier in my video. I mentioned it briefly here. The Becker Box Control VC420 DECT can be used excellently in combination with the LC422 DECT to create corresponding programs that, for example, automatically turn the lights on and off, automatically open and close the windows or shutters, and in this way you also have excellent burglary protection or excellent burglary prevention. Of course, the system can be combined even further since it integrates completely into the Fritz universe. That means you can also include additional DECT sensors in your programs, such as a door opening sensor. That means the door contact, the window contact, the motion detector, whatever is connected to the Fritz box here. You can create great programs. If you're interested and want more videos on this, let me know in the comments. That way I can create follow-up videos on this topic. This way, you can take a closer look at these products here and maybe even order them. If you liked my video or found it helpful in any way, I would of course appreciate a thumbs up. Do you want to watch more of my videos? No problem. Subscribe to my channel here. It's free on YouTube. Goodbye. See you next time. Yours, Mark on YouTube.